tornado kick. This one, a lot of people have a lot of trouble with the setup. Kick itself is very easy. It looks like a lot more spinning than what there is. The actual in-air rotation is only here to here. So you're not going to be doing a lot of spinning in air. All of it's mostly done on the ground in the setup. It's very important to get the setup down because this is the same setup used for pretty much all the vertical kicks, or at least out of the cheat setup. So for starting this one off, it can be done with either a round kick or it can be done with an inside crescent kick. If you're going to do 540 and further on advanced round kick variations, that's the best way to start, and it's also smoother with a hip turned in for the landing. But when you come in with the inside crescent, it's a bit more harsh. So however you want to do it though with your style, usually inside crescent's got more of a big look and there's more of kind of a power look when you're throwing the round kick with it. So to get started, I'll show the move and then I'll break it down, steps, drills, troubleshooting, all that good stuff. So here is a tornado kick. Do one more, different angle. So you're doing the spin mostly here on the ground, coming up. That's going to be pretty much where all your work's going to go into, especially if you never have done the cheat setup or any kicks with that. When you first get started with it, it's going to feel really weird. Essentially what it is, breaking it into steps, and once you get the steps down, it's important to note that that's got to be one fluid motion, no stop, or you lose your momentum. But for starters, step one, just simple step to the other side of your foot. And then on the second step, you're going to look over your shoulder, spot your target, which is very important. If you're looking off, the body's going to go where the head's looking at. So if you're looking over here, it's going to send you out of control. So make sure you spot. So you spot, and you're going to take your non-kicking leg. This is an ambidextrous move like all of them. So I'm using my left, but if you're going the other way, it'd be your right. Pull the knee up and across. The knee itself should be what's driving you across, not you having to torque your body. You turning your body is just going to assist. So from the start, we got the step, turn, spot, and then you're going to pull the knee up and across, kind of like on a diagonal rounded motion. This is going to pretty much, this is your step, so without taking it in the air, but it's the exact same movement. So you're just going to want to really drill 1, 2, 3. Get that down really solid so it's clean. And then when that is good, practice getting that so you're not stopping and making that individual steps, that it's becoming more of one motion. So when you're done without the jump and you combine it together into one motion without losing your momentum, it'll look like this. Once you've got that, you've got the setup pretty good. All you've really got to do is take it to the air, and that's just a hop. Don't worry about the kick. A lot of people I see who have trouble with this, they're right away trying to outkick themselves, get that kick out. That's actually the easiest and last part of the move that you should worry about. The kick is just going to be extending, but they'll tend to throw the kick higher than their flexibility allows or start kicking too soon, and it messes them up. So just get the setup. So from here, we got this. Now all you're going to do is when you're spotting and you're pulling the non-kicking leg up and over, you're going to use that as that's lifting. You're going to capitalize on that. That's all lifting momentum, and then you're going to push off with the other leg. So it's the same thing. The only difference is when you get to the point where you're pulling that non-kicking leg across, you're going to hop. So you're going to go up in the air. Keeping this leg when you hop off of it, which is your kicking leg, don't throw the kick right away. Just get it down where you just leave it chambered, just leave the leg bent. So it'll be this. And just keep working that, and you can start at this step as well, where you're spotting, if that helps, before you combine it all together. Spot, lift. At that point, you're there. At that point, when you can do that without stopping, you're no longer individual steps as you go. You could do that smoothly. All you've got left is the kick. The big thing with the kick that messes people up is they try to out-kick their flexibility. If you can only kick to here, and you're trying to kick way up here, you're going to run into a problem where when you throw your kick, it's like a rubber band. You're going to throw it out, and your flexibility isn't there, so it's going to snap you back. So you're going to be in the middle of getting ready to kick, and it's going to rebound you and stop all your spin. You don't want to have that happen because you want to be able to, when you land, let the kicking leg pretty much just spin you around again. For instance, if you land it right, once you get it clean, there should not be an abrupt stop. It should be more something like this, unless you're going into a combination with it. It should be smooth. So don't out-kick yourself. Just see where you can kick comfortably, whether that be real low. I mean, even if it's just, a low kick, that waist high, chest height. Increasing your height is going to be increasing your basic round kick. So if you're only here with your flexibility, to get a higher tornado kick, it's the same thing as getting a higher round kick. You're going to have to stretch, work your kicks. But out-kicking yourself is going to be the number one issue. So for troubleshooting, that's the big one, is throwing the kick out too high and fighting your own resistance. The second thing that I see is people jumping too early. When they get to this point, they're already trying to jump and kick, and the momentum is here. It's not yet pulling you up in the air. So if you take off at that point where the momentum of this leg is pulling you around, you're going to run into an issue where you're going to travel at like a weird angle. Let's see here. I'll try to mess it up on purpose here to demonstrate that, but taking off too early on the kick. Your momentum's not carrying you where it should be. You want to wait, spot. Once you're looking forward, you're spotting. When this leg is basically reaching its peak to where it has nowhere left to go unless you jump, that's the point where you want to jump. If you're barely here and you jump, this leg did nothing for you, and you're just going to be fighting it, and you've lost that momentum. So that's a big one. The first one, just don't out-kick your flexibility. Second, don't jump too early. For the spin, don't have flaily arms either. This one is not too complicated as far as the spin goes, but you don't want to get in a bad habit now of keeping your arms out like crazy, because if you do, when you get to like 540 and higher up kicks, your spins they're not going to happen if your arms are out. So practice with your arms in your setup, because you're going to use the arms in your setup. I mean, it should be for the tornado kick pretty simple, but you kind of wind up when you first start. Feet are, roughly shoulder width apart. Winding up, it's kind of like you're spring loading your body. You're here and it's waiting to snap. So as you come across, you let that go. Your arms are still going to be out at first. And when you go into the kick, as you're swinging your arms up, bring them into your body. Once you're leaving the ground, pull them in. You don't have to have them in on this kick, or even like hyper tornado or 540, but it's going to help a lot, especially when you're first learning the move. As you go, it will get easy, but at first it's going to take every ounce of strength to do this. So just an example here of pulling my arms in. I can feel right away, as soon as I pull my arms in, that makes me want to spin a lot faster. And that's going to be a big asset in the next move, which is going to hyper the tornado, where you turn further and you're going to land in your kicking leg. And we will show you that one in another tutorial. But just remember, these are all prerequisite moves to something bigger. So you want to learn them right. That way, when it comes time to do the next one, you're able to do it, because if you have to get to that point and then go back, you're going to lose a lot of progress. It's going to take a lot more time. So just focus, don't out-kick yourself. Know your own flexibility, stretch to increase your kick, don't try to force it. Make sure you're not kicking too early, and try to keep control of your arms. Don't let them flail all over. One other thing, I don't see it as much either, I'll mention, is in the setup, I see some people going way too wide. They'll step like way out over here, and then they're at like a bad angle, bad posture for being able to go up with it. The whole idea is that you're going to be upright, straight when you go into it. So don't make it a big circle, and then when you go into the kick, a little circle. It should be the step is quite tight. The setup step should be quite tight, very quick. This is just to generate momentum, and then you want to leave that with explosive power. That way, the big part of this is the kick rather than the setup. So keep it where this is kind of just fast, tight, nothing huge, because if you make your whole setup thing this huge thing, when you go to your kick, you got nothing, so you're going to end up with some crappy little thing like that. So don't make your setup huge. Just remember, all it is a spin to generate momentum. And the legs, the arms, that's what's going to bring you up in the air. So after this, we'll be getting a Hyper Tornado 540, and that's going to be a fun one. Thanks.